change that takes place now and today, and I would categorize my friends who've gone through, let's say, the same track that I've gone through, and of my friends, I would say a fourth have gone to medical school, a fourth have gone to law school, a fourth have done something else within something that will make their grandparents proud, and a fourth have gone into chinuch in some way. And the chinuch that they've gone through is something that's evolving and changing, and whether that meant that I have good friends that are now teaching in modern Orthodox institutions in New York and in other places, or I've spent 3 years learning in yeshivot to become better educators and rabbis and teachers and PhD students that will then be teachers. And I'm referring to also women when I'm talking about women that spent 3 years studying Torah and are becoming Torah teachers that have the same background and training as rabbis. So I see an evolution, and I'll finish up with that there is another chapter, and a chapter that's evolving and changing, and maybe that's the good news that we were talking about. I don't think that we've ended, that the story's ended, and I think that there is a future in what we're talking about.
Well said, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
No, I just want to send it to Sam, your reply, and I'll send it to the very bottom, to Dr. Yoel Golovets.
Maybe I'll start again with a brief definition of modern orthodoxy, although I suspect that in this audience I don't need to do that. I would say that modern orthodoxy believes in critical thinking. Modern orthodoxy shares many of the values of liberal democracy. Modern orthodoxy allows for individual initiative and individual choice, not only corporate or community existence. I think modern orthodoxy endorses the idea of a broad range of knowledge, as I said, having value in and of itself, not only as some have said, as a handmaiden to Torah. So I think these are some basic features of modern orthodoxy, and I don't think that those are particular to the 1950s or 1960s. That is a worldview. What has changed, I think, between the 1950s and now is the view that America is necessarily the place where all of these values can be most, or American society where these values can be most easily acquired or sustained. Now, I think that it is the case that this dualistic, or you might even say multiplex kind of view of modern orthodoxy has come under a great deal of attack from the right wing, and also from, frankly, from many of its children. I mean, many of the children who come back, the young people who come back from an intensive yeshiva experience, an intensive Jewish experience, look at the previous generation's dualism, and they see only duplicity. They say that, no, you really weren't living in more than one world. You were giving lip service to one, but you weren't serious about the other. So there is, to some extent, and that, I think, is very much the nature of the way much of Orthodoxy has begun to look at the past. Even the kind of things that you talked about, the Keren B'Yavne in 1962 and Keren B'Yavne today are not the same institutions. There's been a transformation of a lot of these yeshivas in Israel. In part, at one point, going to a yeshiva in Israel meant becoming integrated with national Israeli, Dati-Lumi populations. Now, by and large, when Americans go to these yeshivas, they're segregated into their own little section. In a sense, as I've said before in another context, many people look at American yeshiva boys as a little bit like a cow. They're a cow in two ways. One, they're the para aduma, which was